G'day everyone, how you going? It's Aura here, just back with another Shadowlands healing video, and today we're looking at the Holy Paladin legendary abilities that will be coming in Shadowlands. Of course, we get 4 spec specific powers, and then we get 4 class powers that every spec will be able to use at all times. Now, jumping into the first one, so Shock Barrier. So Holy Shock protects the target with a shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing up to 0.8 times spell power of the damage every 6 seconds. So basically what they're saying there is that they'll get a shield, and it works very much sort of like the Azerite power in the lower tiers of the shield that pops up every 30 seconds. So every 6 seconds a new shield will pop up on the target for that amount of time. Now it doesn't specify whether if they do not take any damage that it will stack maybe for 1 or 2, or if it just simply resets like the Azerite trait does as well. Now for the second trait, we've got Shadowbreaker Dawn of the Sun. So Light of Dawn's range is increased up to 40 yards, and all allies inside your Light of Dawn receive 10% increased healing from your spells for 6 seconds. So the increase of range of the spell up to 40 yards is very reminiscent of the trait that is in the Azerite armor. However, the increase for 10% healing for 6 seconds, that's a new addition, so, and a very welcome one at that. I think it's very good, especially for Mythic Plus content and burst damage and things like that. Say you need to put say your Beacon of Virtue on the party, hit them with the Light of Dawn, and then if you're able to get some quick Holy Shocks or Flash of Lights out, that's a lot of healing you can do to the group overall. So it allows for immense burst healing there. And then finally we have Efflorescence of the Sunwell. So Infusion of Light has 1 additional charge to its effects, and the effects are increased by 20%. So this is taken from the 4-piece in the tier 19 Holy tier set. Now this is pretty, Infusion of Light itself, so in terms of early healing and an expansion, your Infusion of Light is very powerful in terms of the reduction of mana that it can give you, or the increase in healing that it does. So having an additional charge of that and the effects increased by 20%, actually kind of really beneficial to early healing, as well as later on, especially when you're trying to squeeze out as much HPS as possible. Alrighty, so looking at the general Paladin legendary powers that are coming in Shadowlands. So these are the 4 powers that each spec of the Paladin will be able to use at any time. So the first being the Arbiter's Judgment. So Judgment has a 50% chance to reduce the cost of your next Holy Power spender by 1. That could actually be really beneficial in terms of trying to just squeeze out the most as much as damage or healing from your Holy Power spenders. But also, depending on where the slots fall and how easy it is to obtain, just having an extra, having your Judgment reduce the cost of something by 1 Holy Power when everything's costing 3, so that's by about 1/3 of what it usually would. It's quite beneficial, especially for classes, from my experience, from using for Holy Paladins, trying to get it out as fast as many heals out as fast as possible. Also not, over stacking on your Holy Power. Same goes for Retribution Paladins, trying to squeeze out as many Divine Verdicts. Templar's Verdicts. Now the second power that we're being given is called From Dusk Till Dawn. So when you reach 5 Holy Power, you gain Blessing of Dawn. When you reach 0 Holy Power, you gain Blessing of Dusk. So down below it says that Blessing of Dawn damage and healing increased by 6% for 10 seconds, and Blessing of Dusk damage taken reduced by 6% for 10 seconds. Now this is quite an interesting power too, because no matter which spec you play, I believe that you'll be cycling between 5 and 0 Holy Power quite often, and then it will just be a flat damage and healing increase by 6% for 10 seconds, and also damage reduced by 6% for 10 seconds. So it actually does have some real world application there, and it can be quite, although it isn't an active skill, and it is quite beneficial overall, certainly in your output, but also in the amount of damage you can take. Turning towards things like the Tower of Torghast and things like that, the reduction in damage and everything you can output and everything you can save from being taken from you will be such a large benefit overall. Now the third, Liadrin's Fury Reborn. So casting Avenging Wrath or any Forbearance ability grants 5 Holy Power. Now this, I mean, it can be used for any sort of situation, I guess. Obviously you'd need wings up, but going into combat, it's always beneficial to start with as many holy power as possible, no matter what spec you are, so I can see that always being beneficial. However, in terms of trading it out for other legendaries and other things like that, it'll yet to be seen, but that's just like a thing we'll have to wait and see. Alrighty, and finally here, Uther's Guard. So what this does is your Blessing of Freedom, Sacrifice, Blessing of Spell Warding, Blessing of Protection cooldowns are reduced by 1 second per holy power spent. Now, all of these spells, especially Blessing of Freedom, Sacrifice and Protection, are such important spells in the Paladin's toolkit, and I think a lot of holy Paladins especially forget that they're there. Using Blessing of Sacrifice on your tank, I think the cooldown's only 3 minutes or so. You're able to do that, say you do a 30-minute run of a dungeon, that's, 10 times you can cast it and reduce so much damage incoming on the tank, which frees you up to do damage, or frees you up to, catch up on healing and other things like that. Same with Blessing of Freedom, I think it's underused. People need to free certain members who need to, move out of mechanic, or they're stuck, or they're rooted, things like that. Blessing Protection's the same. I think now that these, cooldowns is now reduced by 1 second per holy power spent, especially when it gets to later stages of the game too. Obviously it won't be that viable then, but it's all about being, I think as a Paladin, you're about being a utility bot and being able to help everyone, and I think that's what a lot of people forget. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. But of course, people obviously look at it, and I think I did too. Uther's Guard, which what it came from as a Legion legendary. Not much application when I've already got all the other BIS legendaries there. However, it'll be interesting to see in terms of how many legendaries we can wear, what we can swap in, what we can swap out, and those sort of things. But for that, I'll leave it there, guys, and thank you very much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe to my channel. It all really helps out. Or come watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/auraparty. I stream there as much as I can. But thank you very much, and I hope to see you in Shadowlands. Thanks.